everyone. This is Ashley with CourtReserve. I hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you so much for joining us for What's New in CourtReserve in October of 2023. Our dynamic product leader, Kim, is here to take us through what's new in CourtReserve. But we have a couple of general announcements. Now, you know that we will record this and we will put this up on our social media platforms, YouTube and Instagram, so that if any of your staff was not available, they can come back and watch this later. Don't forget that all of this will also be in the knowledge base, so you can find that in the top right-hand corner of your CourtReserve admin platform. When you're logged in, next to your name, there is a little book that lives beside the light bulb, and that's where all of the articles and videos for all of our new stuff lives, as well as our new releases are on the megaphone that's beside your name when you're logged in as well. So Kim's going to go to our next slide, and then we're going to talk about some of the other great announcements. So we are an official sponsor of the National Association of Park Foundations. So they help park and rec departments all over the United States with education around best practices in running parks and recs. And we are going to do a little webinar with them and some of our parks and recs clients on how to use data and automation to drive tennis and pickleball revenue. So if you are interested in joining that, it's going to be November 12th, 1 o'clock Eastern. It looks like it's noon Central, of course. I will put the link for registration in the chat in just a few moments once Kim gets started. And then our next announcement, if you are a pickleball facility, we are having another club mastermind for pickleball facilities. This will be the third one we have had this year. The reason that we've had three is because it is so popular and fills up so quickly. It is an amazing experience, 3 days to network with not only new pickleball facilities off the ground. I'm going to open one up. I'm going to add some courts, but existing clubs as well. We talk about everything from lighting, flooring, best practices, how to set rules for your members to bring boom boxes. I mean, you can just imagine everything pickleball. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I will put that link in the chat as well. And then our final announcement, and the one that probably you guys are most excited about, we are going to have another CourtReserve user conference at Pictona, which is in Daytona Beach, Florida, this February. Now, those dates are pretty close. They may not be set in stone, but we're working on the dates. We are going to limit this to the first 50 registrants. That's not 50 clubs unless one at a time come. So that's the first 50 registrants. Just from a size perspective, we want to keep this very intimate. You're going to network a lot. You're going to learn so much from all of the CourtReserve trainers. You get to ask questions. We can help customize your platform. So if you're new or you just want to come get a refresher course or send maybe your front desk person, that will be excellent. So I think that's all the announcements that I have, Kim. So take it away.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ashley, and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we are covering everything that was released on September 26th. So this is everything from our September release. So we're just going to go ahead and get started and tell you about some of the cool things that we added last month. So the first thing that we started with last month was in the Book a Pro scheduler, we actually added a setting to prevent sandwich times. So we already had a setting for this on reservations. So within your reservation settings, there is a setting to prevent sandwich times. Those only apply to reservations. And so there was a need from a lot of organizations that they didn't want people to create sandwich times on a Book a Pro scheduler. So really with the sandwich time on the Book a Pro scheduler, we're going to be preventing dead time on our pro schedules. It's going to, when you set it up, you're going to open up your Book a Pro scheduler that you've created on the create or on the edit, and there's a new setting to prevent a sandwich time of X minutes. So when you prevent that sandwich time, it's going to look at the sandwich time on the pro's schedule specifically. So in this case, I'm preventing 30-minute sandwich times there, so somebody can't leave a 30-minute gap on a pro's schedule. And it's only going to apply on the member portal side. It's not going to apply on the admin side. You just need to make sure that if your staff is booking lessons and things like that, they do know about that 30-minute rule if you don't want to have those 30-minute gaps there. Another thing that we added this month was global announcements. We added some additional features there. So now with the global announcement, you can restrict by membership types and you can restrict by membership groups. So once you add your, you check off the setting, you're going to get some additional boxes here that are displayed. So it's going to unhide them and you can add which membership groups or which membership types that you would like to display these messages to. One thing to just keep in mind in here is if you add something for memberships and you add something for member groups, it's going to show them to both of those groupings. It's not going to look at an or category, or it's not going to look at and. So if you have a membership in here that's like a full family and then a member group that's your 4.0 men, it's not going to make sure that both people are qualified for those groups. It's going to show them to everybody in that membership category, and it's going to show that announcement to everybody in that membership group. So, if it's something that you just want to show to a specific group of people, just make sure that you're creating those member announcements and really just showing them to that targeted group of people that you're looking for.
Hey, Kim, can I stop you quickly?
Yes, ma'am.
I think we forgot to say, if you do have a question, please enter it in the Q&A or the chat, and we're all happy to answer your questions once Kim takes a break.
Yeah, and so we'll be going through some of those questions throughout here. So if we do have a section and you have a question, please ask. With mass update. So mass update is something that we kind of have a little bit hidden, but there are some things that you can mass update as an admin. And there are some other things that you can mass update with the help of our CS team. But one of the things that you can now update as an admin is penalty cancellations. So if you have, rules at your club where after a certain time passes, you want to go everybody's penalty cancellations down to 0 or something like that, you can now do that with mass update. So you can do it for multiple members at once. You don't have to go into each member specifically and update their penalty cancellations down to 0 if you don't want to. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to members. So down here, if you follow my cursor, members on the left-hand navigation side, other actions, mass update. There's going to be a new filter here, action type based on your update penalty cancellations. You then get the ability to search for penalty cancellations with a minimum and maximum filter range here. And so then member penalty cancellations will be then visible in a table. You can see all of the people that you have with those penalty cancellations based on your filtered output. And then you can actually use this setting right here, fields to be updated, and you can update those penalty cancellations back to 0 if you want. I say back to 0 because that's probably the biggest use case here, is to update them back to 0, but you can update them however you need to. The next feature we added is a very exciting one for us. So CourtReserve now has a feature on for organizations that have multiple locations. We're calling it Enterprise. So it's an enterprise, and the first step of Enterprise was giving admins the ability to have multi-location sign-on. So what it does is an admin can run multiple instances of their CourtReserve under organizations grouped under one umbrella. So I have organization A, B, and C. They all have their own CourtReserve instances and databases. But as an admin, I want to be able to switch between those organizations without having to log in or log out and log back in with maybe a dummy email or something like that. So the first thing that we've done with enterprises here is we're allowing admins to have the same email login for each of their enterprise locations. So if you have, again, one company, multiple locations, we can now group all of these for you under one category and give you as the admin the ability to switch between these locations without having to log out and log back in. When you get this ability, just up in the top left-hand corner under our logo, you're going to get a drop-down that has a list of all of your organizations on it. If you are interested, if you do have multiple locations and you're interested in setting this up, please reach out to our customer success team. It's not something that you can set up on your own. We actually have to do that in the back with some system controls, but we will have a lot of other exciting features coming out with Enterprise in the future. So if you are an organization that has multiple locations, definitely check this out because it makes it so much easier when you're trying to manage multiple organizations at the same time.
So we've got some people turning cartwheels.
All right.
So we do have a couple of questions. If you can go back to that global announcement that we talked about earlier. So we have a question. Do global announcements show up in the mobile app?
Yes. So global announcements do show up in the mobile app. So definitely when you have the mobile app open and you're on the member dashboard, there is a row called announcements. And so if you click and you see that mobile announcement on the mobile app, you will get it. You'll get a little, I think there's a little red dot there to let you know that there's a new announcement too.
Yes. And then another great question. So you can have a different number of global announcements depending on who you are targeting in your setup.
Yes, so you can have tons of global announcements. If you go to the global announcements section, you can create multiple global announcements. There's a lot of settings you can see here around global announcements. I can title it. I can make it active in the future until a certain date. So you can preset global announcements too to show up at a specific time to a specific group. So if I had one announcement I wanted to show to my full family members and another announcement that I wanted to show to a specific, maybe my ladies leagues, and I had them all under a member group, I could do that. So you can create multiple global announcements and target them to specific people if you want to, or specific groupings of people if you want to.
I really think this is one of those features in CourtReserve that a lot of people don't use enough or even know enough about. And it's a great way to communicate with your players now of all different types. And this just puts global announcements on a whole new level when you can strategically tell your players different things.
Exactly. And we also, I will give you a little bit of a preview. We have some additional fun stuff coming with global announcements here pretty soon. We're going to allow you to mark a global announcement as urgent too. So if it's something that you want to make sure that your members are paying attention to, maybe it's a weather delay or something you need to just make sure that they get and that they see, you can mark them as urgent. And then with global announcements, we're also building the ability in development right now for you to be able to set a global announcement from the mobile app. So as an admin right now, if you're looking at the mobile app on the admin side on the dashboard, you can't create a global announcement. You can really only do it from the desktop view, but we're giving you the ability to be able to do that in the mobile app. So lots of features coming for global announcements very soon, but the first one there was to restrict it by membership type. So now you can really target those specific announcements that you want to send to your members.
And you can thank some of the people on this call for these specific additions, because again, we take all of the ideas from our clubs and facilities, and then Kim and her team, they do such a great job. So thank you for continually making our product better for everyone, because these are your ideas. So thanks again.
All right, and so we will just continue right on. We got through mass update and enterprise. So the next cool thing that we added with has to do with event registrations. So we now have a setting on event registrations to allow to set a minimum event registration participation, or the event is going to auto cancel. So we're setting a minimum number of registrants for an event to run. So under your event create or your event edit, there's a new setting down here called require minimum participation for this event to occur. Once you check this box off, you're going to get some additional attributes here to fill out. So you're going to want to set your minimum participation and then the automatic clinic cancellation before start. So, or automatic event cancellation time before the start. So you can set the number of hours, number of days, number of weeks in advance that you would want this to cancel. It can apply to a single event date, or it can apply to all event dates, so full registration events. So what you want to do here is, but it can apply to both. So you can have it done for just your drop-in events, or you can have it for just your full registration events. Probably need to update this label. I'm now looking at that again, and I think I need to update that to say full events and not all dates. Or that's an all dates registration. Anyway, so you can apply it to both. You can only apply it to one or the other. So when you're doing single date, it's going to look at each date individually, and you can cancel each date individually if you're looking at drop-in registrations. For full event registrations, it's going to look at the first day of that event. So it's going to, if my event starts on November 1st and is a 10-week long session, and I'm only doing full event registration, it's going to look at November 1st as the start date, and it's going to cancel that event based in all of the subsequent dates for that event based on November 1st. So definitely take a look at this and figure out how you want to utilize it to the maximum ability, because it does open up a lot of different things that you can do now with events. We do have some notifications around this as well. So admins will receive a warning email when you have reached, if you are at risk of losing this event or canceling this event based on the minimum participation numbers. So the admin warning email, you can actually set this based on when you want to receive it. So there's a setting now under general settings at the bottom called notify admin X hours before clinic is canceled for low numbers. And you can say at 36 hours before this event, 24 hours before this event, please tell me, the admin, that this event is going to be canceled. So maybe I can, maybe go find some extra players or something like that. Another thing to note is this email is going to go to the admin setting for who receives this email within the event. So under, definitely check out the knowledge base article regarding minimum event registration. It's linked in the release notes because it has a lot of really good information just around the overall instances of minimum event registration. So definitely check that out. And then your player is going to receive an event cancellation email once the event is actually canceled. The reason is just going to say low numbers when that event is canceled. So again, once you set these settings, you've got require minimum participation. You want to set that minimum. Your minimum cannot be greater than your maximum that you have set in the above section of the event settings. So just keep that in mind as well. And then again, the time before the start. So a couple other things. With full events, this setting cannot be applied retroactively. So if you already have a current full event running, you cannot go in and add this setting to an event that is already in the middle of taking place. So if you've already had the first date is in the past, you cannot add it to a full event that has dates in the past. You can add it to drop-in only events that have dates in the past, again, because we're looking at single instances. We're not looking at the entire session. So you can add this to an event retroactively for drop-in only events. And then auto cancel is going to be disabled for all instances after the threshold time passes and that max capacity was met. So what does that mean? I've got a scenario here. So my drop-in event is set to auto cancel 12 hours prior to the event, okay? I require a minimum of 8 registrants. 12 hours before the event, I have 9 players. Perfect. My event is going to run because I have reached that threshold. But now 8 hours before the event, I lose 2 players and 2 players withdraw. So now there's only 7 registrants. So because that time for the event to auto cancel has already passed and I did meet that threshold, the event is not going to auto cancel and I have to cancel it manually as an admin. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We're not continuously looking. Once that time happens, then if the max has been met, or the minimum has been met, we're not going to go back and cancel it if the max falls or if the minimum falls below the threshold I've set. And it's also going to display to players on the member portal. So when you're going in and you're registering for an event as a player, you're going to just see a little note here that this event requires however many more participants by whatever date and time, or it will be canceled. I did also want to just add here, we had some support questions surrounding this question. People were noticing that it wasn't canceling at exactly that 24-hour mark or exactly that 12-hour mark. It took maybe a few minutes behind or a few minutes lag in order for it to take place and auto cancel. Just the way that this is built, it's not continuously running in the back of the system. We do system checks periodically every about 15 minutes. So your event could be delayed up to 15 minutes from getting that auto cancel notice. So just keep that in mind as well. So with minimum event registration, now you can really just keep in mind, we also have an auto refund feature too. So really you can set your minimum event registration to cancel an event and then auto refund too. So if you've got both of these happening at the same time, you can actually make sure that these events get canceled for low numbers and that your players are automatically getting refunds and you don't have to go in and approve all these refunds too. So just make sure that you also check your auto refund rules and you use those together, because it definitely alleviates some responsibility there that the admin would need to go in and do daily for minimum event registration. So Ashley, I'm seeing a bunch of questions, so I did want to pause here and see if I could answer any questions for people.
Oh yeah, let's go. So we have a question around back to the global announcements. I'm interested in messaging specific groups for weather alerts or unplanned cancellations. Is that possible with the new global announcements feature?
So I might not recommend using global announcements for something that you need to make sure gets in their face immediately. You can, of course, use global announcements for that reason, but you have to count on them logging in to their app to see it. For that kind of announcement, I would recommend using push notifications, to be honest, or mass email, but definitely take a look at push notifications. If your members for those situations are using the app, you can use push notifications to set those filters for those member groups or to those people that have those upcoming reservations. And you can send them a push notification that's going to go to their mobile device that they're going to see faster than they would if they were constantly going into trying to have to check for an announcement or something like that. So you can use an announcement in that way where it would post it on the member portal for them, but I highly recommend using something that's going to get more of an alert for people to go look at their phones.
And this is around emails. I'd like to be able to have a specific email for minimum participation, but right now I was told it was only to be able to send the generic cancellation email.
We'll have to take that one offline. I would need to maybe go see the support ticket for that. There's a admin email that's created to let you know if there's low numbers for an event. So that's based on the setting that I mentioned on the first slide. I'll go back to that one. So the admin warning email. But we don't have a player warning that this is going to be canceled at this time, if that's what the questions wants. There's not an alert to let the player know that this event could potentially be canceled.
Yes. And do these emails, these cancellation emails, count against their monthly email, the bulk email?
No, so these are going to be part of your system emails. So Ashley, correct me if I'm wrong, but the system emails do not count against those monthly marketing emails that we count. So this is just going to be part of your system emails. So you're going to get this admin low numbers notification. That's going to be included as a system email. So that's not counting towards your monthly total. And then any normal cancellation email that a player gets, those don't count towards your monthly total either.
Yep. I guess her question really was, I want to be able to tell the player different info than just that the event was canceled due to low enrollment. But right now, that's the only thing it says, correct?
Right now, that's the only thing it says. It just said on the cancellation email under the reason section, it's going to say low numbers. And so if you wanted to send a targeted email to those participants, you would just need to go to the event and find the event, and you can still contact those players that were canceled. But there's not a separate email that can be generated or a separate information that can be generated in that email.
This question's around auto refund. So this is kind of related, but not. But how does auto refund work? Does it go back to their credit card or does it go back to the account? And I believe it's at the setup. Is that correct?
So at the setup, if you go to, and since I'm not in a live demo right now, I'm just on slides, I don't want to navigate away from this, but if you go to settings and you go down to the billing and payments row, there's a button to almost the very end that says auto refund. And under those settings, you can actually say whether you want auto refund for reservations, for events, for lessons, for event full registration, for event drop in registration. And then if you enable it, you can actually set a threshold for the maximum amount that can be auto refunded without admin approval on the normal refund screen. You can also control where those auto refunds go. So you can say, I want those auto refunds to go to balance if they're being auto refunded, or I want them to go back to credit card, basically, or their original form of payment, essentially. You can control, or you can't do auto refunding for cash because the way, cash is exchanged by hand, but you can say a balance or credit card. Those would be the options there, but it would go back to the person's original form of payment.
And save you lots and lots of time.
It does. If you don't use it, definitely take a look at it because if you pair minimum event registration with auto cancellation, you've got a lot less on the refund screen that you're having to go through almost on a daily basis. So definitely take a look at that.
So this is not really related, but I'm going to answer it anyway. So Suzanne, you had asked if we have complimentary, well, you said you have complimentary clinics each week. The same members always sign up for them. Is there a way to limit members to 1 or 2 clinics per month? So this is what we call event restrictions. And if you reach out to the live chat support team, they can tell you more about how you can use event restrictions, and you can limit your members to specific number of classes per week and per month. We're happy to help you do that. So yes, we can do that. Another great question. Once an event auto cancels, is it open for anyone on court waitlisting who has a reservation that fits the new court opening?
Oh, that's a really good question. We're just bringing everything together here. So if the event is auto canceled, okay, we're event auto cancel. So if anybody's on the wait list for that event, hopefully nobody's on the wait list for that event. Nobody should be on an event wait list because you didn't get enough participants. So that's the first thing. So if that event auto cancels, it's going to cancel the event, okay? It's going to remove the court from your scheduler. So that spot on your scheduler would open up. So if you have somebody on a court wait list that is on a court wait list because that event was being taken up by that court, then yes, those players on the court wait list for that specific time period are going to get a notification that there's a court opened up. So the whole system works together for you there. So if you've got people on a court wait list and that event auto cancels, you don't have to go in and make sure that you need to cancel this event to get people on the court. It's going to auto cancel. Those players that are on a wait list for a court are going to get a notification.
Okay. Let's see. This is more of an idea. Basically, if you have an event and it auto cancels and you need to reduce the number of courts, the system would automatically reduce it by one court because you don't need that many courts yet. So.
Yes, I've seen that. I think I've seen that request before. Yeah, so just auto reducing the number of courts based on the number of players that are registered. That's a really good idea. So we should take a look at that at some point in the future.
All right.
Anything else before we continue?
Moving on.
All right, let's go. Sorry, I got to get through some of my stuff here. All right. So another exciting feature that we released last month is sub-admins being able to manage other sub-admins. So what does this mean? So the scenario that we really built this around was, do you have a front desk manager or some other person in your facility that you want to be able to help you manage your staff of sub-admins, but you don't want to give them full access to your system as an admin? Maybe you only give admins the ability to see financials and reporting and stuff like that, or all of that good stuff, but you want these other sub-admins to help you add new employees to your system. You want them to help you do specific things and help you update settings for people, but you can't do that right now if they're a sub-admin, or you couldn't do that if they were a sub-admin. So right now with sub-admins managing other sub-admins, you can create so sub-admins that have this permission can create or edit other sub-admins and adjust their permissions. So it's enabled in the sub-admin settings table. It's just another one that we added down here at the bottom. It's got a little tooltip on it too, but you want to go to system user and then sub-admin permissions and just scroll to the bottom of that long list. So once you enable this, they'll be able to, again, adjust the permissions of another sub-admin in the system. They cannot modify admin permissions, delete users, which just helps you maintain another level of security with your system too. All right, and so now we have another exciting auto cancellation feature. So we did auto cancel on events. We've also added a feature to auto cancel memberships that are past due. So this one was a really cool one for us to update. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to automatically cancel a membership if a payment has not been received within a specific number of days. Currently, you're just going to move to an expired category, and you just kind of hang out there as expired, and your fees are still out there and everything's still pending. So what auto assign will do is it will mark this player once you enable this feature at the number of days that you set here. It's going to mark them basically as inactive or canceled. So it's going to switch their membership status to canceled. And then when they log into the system next time, they're going to have to repurchase their membership again if they want to still participate at your facility. But then you just don't have people in a category that have expired memberships, essentially. Once this feature is enabled, you also have the ability to auto reassign them to a different membership category. So we had a lot of facilities that maybe wanted to take a paid membership And when it was expired or it was auto canceled, and the person hadn't paid for their new upcoming dues or whatever, they wanted to be able to reassign this membership category to maybe a free category or something like that. So you don't have all these people with just incomplete memberships on their side. They can still access the system. Maybe you're a pay-to-play facility. They can still access certain parts of the court reservations and things like that. So you definitely have a path. If somebody doesn't pay for something, you can or doesn't pay for their membership, you can auto cancel their membership if it's unpaid, and then you can turn around and reassign that to another membership category. So possibly they could still access the system in whatever way, shape, or form that you see fit. So this is also retroactive. It can be applied to existing memberships that have players that meet this criteria. So if I had members that had past due memberships, and I wanted to go ahead and enable this permission, I can. It's going to tell me that there's one membership here right now that would be canceled based on the criteria that I have here. And then if I wanted to auto reassign this membership, it would auto reassign these people for me as well. So just keep in mind that this is only applying when really the dues are unpaid, when something about a membership is unpaid. It's not looking at, one of the questions we had in support was, I have a membership that's ending at the end of November or at the end of the year. I have a membership that just ends. Is it going to apply in that scenario? No, it's not going to apply to a membership end date. It only applies if there's a due situation that's unpaid. So when they're re-upping, so let's say you have somebody that's re-upping on the member portal, if they go in and they say that they want to purchase this membership, but then they don't actually go through with the purchase, you can actually then, this scenario would kick in where after a certain number of days, it would auto cancel it. Ashley, any questions?
Yes. All right. So there's been a couple questions that have come through that I've kind of individually either answered or asked you to go out to live chat. We're happy to help you, but because Kim can't go into the account right now, it's kind of hard to answer some questions. So just know we do the best we can here. So the first question is, how can we restrict family memberships to only members of one family? Currently, random individuals can group themselves under family memberships and avail all of the family discounts. I would say my first is if you have memberships, then they come to the front desk and, that first time that they come to the club and have to show you ID or, validate who they are. But you can also limit your memberships with a number of family members. And I can't remember where that is, Kim. Do you remember?
Yeah, it's under the member. If you're in the membership, it's under the membership settings. I believe it's on the first tab when you're setting up the membership. Actually, after you've created it, I think it's on the first tab towards the bottom. I think you can control how many members of this family and then what the roles of this family are. I think it's on that page. Yeah. But there's not a way to right now approve when family members are added to a family. That is a really good feature that we should probably look at adding at some point in the future too. I do like that one a lot.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So the next question, can we specify a membership type to auto reassign to a new membership when it expires?
No, not right now.
Okay.
It's another really good one though. When this category expires, let's reassign them somewhere else. No, there's just a lot of variables that would go into something like that too, but we can definitely look at that. That's another one we've looked at, just haven't done yet.
Let's see, this one's kind of two-part. Can this be done? I'm not sure what she's talking about. Can this be done with expired memberships rather than just auto cancel? We don't charge for our memberships, but they are set to cancel.
It's only right now going to apply to ones that are fee-based. So if your membership does not require a fee, this is not something that you can enable. So right here on this membership price tab, if this requires fee boxes unchecked, you actually don't see any of this. So this would only apply to scenarios where you have a paid membership that is unpaid or their dues essentially are not paid.
Any update?
Wait, can I ask this question right here? We're a little off topic, but will members be able to set their own profile pictures? Yes, I'm working on that right now. So we'll I just have to write the requirements for it.
Boom, look at that. Come to the new features webinar and your wishes are command. All right. Let's see. The last question. We are approaching the end of the outdoor season. How can members renew for next spring 2024?
Well, first, you just want to make sure that you have your membership category created. But my next recommendation would be get with live chat support, and we can help walk you through that because it's definitely more than I can probably cover in the we have about 20 minutes remaining. So
Yeah,
definitely more than I can cover in that time.
definitely. Okay, moving on.
All right, let's keep going here. Oh, so then I just have a little graphic down here. So the membership becomes expired. You can auto cancel it. That means that the membership will be inactive, and then you can auto reassign it. So then they're technically active in the system again on whatever new membership that you have set there. So. All right, so let's move on to another something that's fun. I love working on instructor schedules. I come from an admin background with clubs, so anything that I can help my instructors do to help keep track of their system is always super fun for me. So what we've done here is we've given instructors a little bit of the ability or some ability here to help track their hours and how many hours they currently have within the system, okay? So the first thing we've done is something more for admins, but if you're if you have anybody that has access to the instructor scheduler that's over here on the left navigation, or the instructor navigation piece, I guess I should say, everybody that has access to instructors right here is going to have access to the summary. So we've given you an instructor hours summary that just gives you a report, basically like the instructor hours report, and it gives you a breakdown of what everybody's hours is for a specific week period. Now, in the last release, don't forget, we did give you the ability to set your start day of the week. So if you have a different day of the week that you say that your payroll goes by, the example I always use is my previous facility. They started payroll on Saturday and went Saturday to Friday. So if you're counting hours based on a different structure than a Monday through Friday or a Sunday through Saturday schedule, you can do that. So look for that in the last release notes that we did. But when you do hours summary, it's now going to look at that start day of the week and count the hours for your pros based on what you say your start day of the week is. So it's going to look at that weekly period and it's going to count everything for them. So this is just a screenshot right here, but I definitely say go in and take a look at this, because if you have a lot of pros, it just helps you give a bird's eye view of where they're at for the week. So there's also some improvements that I want to make around this screen. So we'll have some improvements coming for this too, some filters, just freezing some of these panes too. So this is definitely helpful as admins just to see at a high level where your instructors are. The next thing we added was on the instructor schedule itself, we've added a counter for instructors to count the number of hours that they have for the week or for a specific day. So under my schedule, an instructor is now, this toggle right here, we introduced in the last release, and now we've added a chip over here to show the instructor the number of weekly hours. There's a little eye icon on here as well. So if you actually click this chip, it's going to show you a modal that has a summary view of what those hours are by day when you're talking about a week total. So it'll break that down for them, events, lessons, and reservations. So it's desktop friendly and mobile app friendly as well. So over here on the left, you'll see an instructor schedule on the mobile app. That instructor can toggle between the day and weekly views. When they're on the day view, it's going to give them their total hours for the day. On the week view, on the week chip, it's going to give them their total weekly hours. Again, you see the little eye here. So if ever you see that little eye, you can click that little eye and you're going to get that weekly summary that you would also get on the desktop. So it tells them at a high level how many total event hours they have, how many total lesson, how many total reservation hours they have, and then a breakdown by day, what that looks like. So definitely helpful for those instructors. Again, I'm looking at adding some filters here. If you don't use reservations for instructors at all, that would, maybe something that we could filter out. So just ways of, helping you do this a little bit more dynamically, that would be helpful as well. All right, so we've got those chips. All right, so Ashley, that was the end of my presentation. I do have some things that are coming soon, but do we have any other questions?
Just the, is instructor hours or that instructor payroll going to come soon?
Yeah, that's something that we're looking at. We definitely have that as a high priority on our roadmap. So we have a couple of clubs that have given us some really, really good information about what they would be looking for. So we definitely will be taking a dive into that soon. But it's not, we have it coming. We definitely have it at the top of our priority list.
Yeah, that's all the questions I have right now.
Okay, cool. Well, if anybody wants to see some fun stuff that we have coming soon, I do have a coming soon slide here. So one of the fun things that we're doing right now is we are updating the admin payment window. So the window that you use on the admin side to take payments right now, it just runs really slow. If you've got somebody that has a lot of unpaid fees, it takes forever to load. Every time you click, the page refreshes and it's just not easy to use. So we're taking the admin pay window and we're increasing some performance things around that window. We're also, if you have a point of sale, giving you the ability to bring items in from your point of sale when you're paying out court reservations or fees and things like that. So if you have somebody standing in front of you that's booking a court, you want to sell them a can of balls from your point of sale, you can do that in one transaction. You won't have to do separate transactions to do all of that. The next fun thing we have here is my screenshots over here on the right. So you've got this new mobile app dashboard view. Now I have previewed this in a few of our other releases in the past. We've been so excited about this. This has been a labor of love to build out and make right. So we've really gotten to the finish line on being able to release this. So this is coming very soon. There's some customizations that you'll be able to do around this. And this is really the first step in us building that white label app. So we are starting development on white label mobile app. So if you want your own branded app, that's coming as well down the pipeline. So keep an eye out for stuff like that. And then on the right, we have a new reservation flow. So this is coming very soon too. So right now, the mobile app reservation flow, it's a bit antiquated. It's a bit outdated looking. So we're giving it a bit of a refresh. So when somebody creates a reservation, it's just a little bit easier to follow. Adding players is super easy. It's just an easier user experience in general. And then we also have another big request that came out of our duper release last month was just being able to simply unlink duper players and see what their duper ID is. So we do have that coming very, very soon as well, just a way for admins to go and be able to manage those linking and unlinking of players if they need to. Any questions, Ashley?
Of course. When are we launching the club website option for member clubs?
We're working on that as well. That's a great question. Yes, that is coming also.
I know people love dates, but dates can get us in trouble, so we don't give dates anymore.
I won't give dates. I will just tell you we're working on it.
Right, that's right. A couple more things. Will there be additional enhancements to leagues to make it more integrated with CourtReserve? Of course, that's
yes. I have a laundry list of items that we have on a wish list for leagues, things that we want, things that you want. I'm so excited. We've just hired 2 more team members to our product team, and one person in particular that's going to be dedicated to really taking a look at leagues and our duper, everything duper related to. So we definitely have more bandwidth to be able to continue down that path and make it a more robust system for you. We're going to be taking a look at time-based leagues, team-based leagues, other formats that we could offer behind that as well. We definitely need to add tennis in there. So we have a lot coming down there. We just need a little bit of time to work on it now that we've brought in some other team members, but it'll be great.
Let's see. We'd like an enhancement to add a wait list for opt-in on specific game days.
I just talked to him about that today, so we're going to be taking a look at that as well. Definitely a big need.
And then event restrictions, including league game days. Oof.
Event restrictions in league game days. I think I saw a Facebook post or something about that on support recently, where you can limit the number of game days that somebody can participate in, or if it's events and leagues on the same day, what can the participation be? So we'll have to take a look at that. Events and leagues are so separate right now. I'm not sure what that looks like, but definitely a great suggestion.
Are the new house league features activated now? So I'm assuming, we do have a flex-based league,
Yes.
feature that you can add now already. So you can go to add-ons and go to league, and then you can ask the live chats team. We have an entire webinar and an article and everything to help you get that set up. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Go start using those flex leagues. They are available in your environments, in your production environments.
And let me tell you, what do we have? At least 50 or so clubs already running leagues already.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's incredible how many players are playing leagues right now.
Just simple flex league. So I know everybody has different formats they want to do, but just try a flex league. Like, it's a lot of fun for people that can kind of manage their own schedules, and it's just a way to get people playing.
Yes. Let's see. Prevention of multiple concurrent event registrations.
I would have to take a closer look. I understand the question. Maybe reach out to Ashley. Yeah, I know there's some functionality that we can do behind some of those event restrictions that we had talked about a little bit earlier. Just, I would need to take a deep dive into what exactly that they're looking for.
Let's see. Where can we find information on the club website for member clubs? We don't have any information yet, so that's to come.
Okay.
And then the last question is, are we doing a multiple webinar? So we are doing that webinar with the National Association of Park Foundations. And so that would be where we have a relationship with them, and we're going to be doing a webinar with them that I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, all about how to drive tennis and pickleball revenue for Parks and Recs and some other things. So yes, it is, I believe it is on the 9th. I can't remember, but yes, I believe that's right, Stephanie. So I guess they're talking about, concurrent event issues where people sign up for the same event twice. I'm not sure, but if you want to reach out to chat support, that's what those folks are there for. And then you can log that there. The next question.
I see somebody asking about production versus tests. Sorry, that's my development brain talking. So yes. Anything that you guys see, I call production. So I apologize if there's any confusion. No, we don't have a test environment that you guys can use to test out new features. I apologize for that confusion.
Oh, got it. Okay. So I guess the question around the event concurrent is 2 events that happen at the same time.
Yeah, right now we don't have restrictions around that.
Yep. So. All right. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you guys so much. This will be up on our social media links in about 24 hours. And again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for all of your great ideas, and we will see you next month. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining, everybody.